Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Debbie and I read a lot of books. Today I'm with another audiobook. I'm really getting into the audiobooks at the moment. It's a really nice way to use my time when I'm on my walks at work. Those who haven't been here before, I work in a basement, so I don't really see much fresh air when I'm at work. There's no windows. Once you're down there, and so on my lunch breaks, which is an hour, I get out and have a walk around the ground because I work in a hotel and it's beautiful. And yeah, the grounds that the hotel is on, there are so many gardens and there's quite a long way to walk. There's a golf club at the other end, so I can essentially do 2.5 miles on my lunch break. And so yeah, it gives me a really nice time of walking around the gardens and things and just listening to a book. Today's book is The No-Show by Beth O'Leary. Now I'll admit now, this probably wasn't my favourite Beth O'Leary book. I'll read the blurb to you and then tell you how I felt when I was listening to this book. Okay. 8:52 a.m. Siobhan's been looking forward to her breakfast date with Joseph. She was surprised when he suggested it. She normally sees him late at night in her hotel room. Breakfast with Joseph on Valentine's Day surely means something. So, where is he? 2:43 p.m. Miranda's hoping that a Valentine's Day lunch with Carter will be the perfect way to celebrate her new job. It's a fresh start and a sign that her grown-up life is finally falling into place. She's been dating Carter for 5 months now and things are getting serious. But why hasn't he shown up? 6:30 p.m. Joseph Carter agreed to be Jane's fake boyfriend at a colleague's engagement party. They've not known each other long, but their friendship is fast becoming the brightest part of her new life in Winchester. Joseph promised to save Jane tonight, but he's not here. Meet Joseph Carter. That is, if you can find him. It's a contemporary, humorous romance. Duration is 10 hours and 48 minutes on audiobook, and I listened to it on around 1.5 speed. This version is read by Catherine Drysdale, Ivana Lynch, Heather Long, and Luke Thompson. So yeah, as you can tell from the blurb, they're all planning to see him on Valentine's Day and he just doesn't show up. But yeah, 2 of them know him as Joseph, 1 of them knows him as Carter, but it's very clear it's the same person. And so you are seeing these 3 different points of view for the majority of the book, and then you get a chapter from Joseph at the very end. So I really enjoyed The Flat Share. That was the first Beth O'Leary book I ever read. And then the last one I listened to was The Road Trip, which I really enjoyed as well. And yeah, I found that as I was listening to it, the ones that I was most excited to listen to was Jane's. In order, I think Jane was the favourite, then Siobhan, and then Miranda. But it just felt like there was so much time hearing from the 3 different point of views when nothing was really happening. And so I think that's why I was kind of tuning out quite a lot, because at first it was just like, is it just because, was I getting distracted or something? But then I'm listening to another audiobook at the moment where I'm hearing every word. And it's because I want to know what's going on, and, it's laying that groundwork for quite an exciting story is the book that I'm listening to at the moment. Whereas this one, it just felt like a lot of nothing to begin with. I'm sorry, I'm sure there are people who love this book, but for me, for somebody who's not the biggest fan of a slow burn, and I know some people say, like, is it a slow burn or is it just laying a lot of groundwork for the big reveal? And I think this one was a bit of both, because you do get a lot of groundwork so that when the twist happens, it speeds it up. But for this, I felt like it was a mixture of laying the groundwork, but also not much happening. Yeah, sorry for people who like this book. I thought that the voices were great. As I was listening to it, because obviously I know Ivana Lynch from the Harry Potter films, and then Catherine Drysdale, I was just very aware of the fact that I don't think I've ever actually heard her real voice in anything before this book, because the first thing I ever saw her in was 2 Pints of Lager and a Packet of Crisps, where she had a very high-pitched voice. It's kind of like comparing Megan Mullally with Karen Walker from Will and Grace, where the voices are just, their natural voice is very different to the voice they put on for the character. And so with Catherine Drysdale, obviously, I knew her from playing in 2 Pints, and she had quite a nasally, high-pitched voice in that. And then on Bridgerton, she speaks with a fake French accent and then incorporates kind of an RP voice, which is probably the closest to Catherine's real voice anyway. But in this, she shows off her acting chops so well in regards to the accents that she does. I think she does a bit of a Scottish accent in there, and yeah, she does quite a few accents, and it just made me realise just how good she is. Because as I said, you know, I've seen her in 2 Pints, obviously she's been in Bridgerton, and just, I haven't seen her, I think she was in Benidorm at one point. Doing the voice for Jane in this, with all the other accents that she was doing, it was just like, I need to see Catherine Drysdale in more things because she's brilliant. She really is. And yeah, and then obviously Luke Thompson, the voice of Luke Thompson in here as well, who is also known for Bridgerton. Yeah, he plays Benedict. I was getting him confused with another voice, but I think actually he might actually be a voice in another audiobook that I've been listening to. Ultimately, once the twist happens, everything starts happening, and you start to understand the connections that are happening. I then started to enjoy it, but it was probably in like maybe like the last quarter that it really started to pick up for me. For a lot of the book, I just was there zoning out, rewinding things and playing it again and just going, wait, what? And it wasn't over confusion, it was just that I was a bit bored. Again, sorry to anybody who enjoyed this book. I like quite action-packed things. It's just like, I like when you look at like what my favourite type of books are, I like a good murder mystery, you know, things where like a lot of things happen to point you in lots of different directions. With this, you're just hearing the 3 point of views. You see that one day at the beginning where it's Valentine's Day and they're all wondering where the hell he is, and then you kind of go into where each person is in their life with a bit of backstory, putting them back into the present and figuring out where they are now. And yeah, so for me it really did start to pick up when you hit that kind of the New Year's section, because it pretty much spans across about a year. So when it hits New Year's and you suddenly realise what's going on, you're just like, wait, what? That might be a bit of a hint for people as to what the twist might be. But yeah, once you hit the twist and then you start to see the connection, specifically between Jane and Siobhan, that was when it really started to pick up for me and I started to become really interested and I was hearing every single word. Whereas before, as I was listening to it, I felt like my brain was skimming it. Which is interesting because obviously when you read a book it can be quite easy to skim words, which I think is probably kind of how I read. Like, I don't need to read every single word to get like the gist and to enjoy something. And when you listen to an audiobook, it's harder to skim because obviously it's a voice in your ear. But I think that's what was happening as I was listening to it. It was as if my brain was skimming it. I enjoyed the end, but the build-up just felt very, very slow for me. That's the ultimate takeaway from how I felt about this book. It's almost as if I feel like the 3 women, their stories could have been compacted a bit more. The section didn't need to be as long as they were. I felt like it could have been shorter, essentially. You know, I said the duration of it is 10 hours 48 minutes. I feel like it easily could have been 8 hours because I feel like there was just some stuff in there that wasn't completely necessary for it to be there. It could have been told in a slightly shorter way, if that makes sense. So yeah, even though I really did enjoy the ending, I really liked how it all came about and the twist was really clever, but I felt like it took a long time to build up. And it didn't feel like just laying the groundwork. It felt like there was some stuff in there that it was just like, I don't think it was necessary. Yeah. I mean, I can't like them all. And I do, generally, I'm quite positive when it comes to my reviews and things. I say reviews. What I do isn't really a review as such. It's just me comprehending the book I've just read and sharing my thoughts on it. I wouldn't actually say that my thoughts hold a lot of weight. It's just me as a murder mystery fan sharing the type of books that I am attracted to read, what I like and things. So it's not very often you get a book that I don't like. On one hand, I can... Sorry about that, my niece turned up. I could hear her voice downstairs. She just come back from an art class. So, you can say hi.
Hi.
But yeah, yeah, so as I was saying, it wasn't my favourite, but I really enjoyed the twist, and once that twist happened and everything started connecting, it was more enjoyable. So yeah, it was The No Show by Beth O'Leary. That is your front cover of the book. 3 women waiting on Valentine's Day for a man who doesn't show up. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you on Sunday with a Series Sunday video. Stay safe everybody, love you all, goodbye!